Oh, it said, okay. Awesome. Yay!
So good
So
to see you.
excited. So good to see you. I just want to give you a big hug. So excited.
Too. Uh,
Yay.
yeah, I featured some of your poetic pointings on the channel, and I just thought it'd be great to get inside your head and ask how this has been for you, how it started, and everything.
Oh, yay.
You want to share some of your story?
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to hear your story too. Um, yeah, so Jenny um had an unusual childhood, I guess. The dad was an existentialist, atheist. He was already questioning everything, and I remember him reading Being in Nothingness by Jean-Paul Sartre to me, and I didn't really understand what he was saying, but it was that energy. And then my mom was a super spiritual healer who had her awakening with Jesus, and um and so I watched total miracles happen, which were really cool, like magic tricks. Where she'd lay hands on someone with a brain tumor, and then the person would go to the doctor, and the doctor couldn't find that it had ever existed. And it's like, wow. So, yeah, from early on, lots of questions, and was a weird artist and um, rebellious, and kind of broke the rules and didn't think there were any rules, you know? So, it kind of anarchy from the beginning. And then some depressions and some but eh, was pretty happy, still, but there was something missing. There was something not right or something off that I couldn't put my finger on. And then there was, you know psychedelics and just all sorts of stuff, experimenting, and um getting into spirituality, but more like metaphysical stuff, kind of dabbling into different philosophies, and but not hardcore seeking, or not hardcore, trying to be enlightened or seeking liberation or anything. I didn't know what I was seeking. And then in 2017, I remember there was a real dark period where I was like, there's no way this is real. This is absolutely disgusting. Like, what the fuck is this shit? It would be doomed. This can't be finite. If this appears finite, it's got to be infinite, or if this appears as everything, it's got to be nothing. There's something to this. And then there was reading an Alan Watts book, and then just little seeds were planted, it seemed, even though it's just, there's no process, and the past didn't even happen. And these are just, but it appears like little things were happening. But yeah, I remember my best friend saying, nothing exists outside of the mind. It's all mental. And then studying the Kabbalion, the universe is mental. And then Alan Watts saying, this is God playing hide and seek with itself in a dream. And then I remember getting chill bumps and really resonating with that. And then it may have been like a couple of weeks later, I was in the car with my best friend running mom errands, just ordinary stuff. And all of a sudden, I disappeared. No one was there. Um, it was like an explosive glimpse where it was almost like God saw itself in the mirror, or the relative saw itself as the absolute. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was like nothing, everything saw itself as one, or whatever. And then it was that changed everything forever. There's no unseeing that. And then
Yeah.
and then it was like full blown liberation on steroids. It was not like not the typical story of like the gradual, or I didn't know what the hell had happened. I remember looking it up online. I was like, and it said spontaneous enlightenment or samadhi or whatever. And I was like, why did that happen? Why? I didn't even try to do that. And then it was, and then it was like, I couldn't even have a fear. It was very obvious the past had never happened. My whole life had never happened. And it was shimmering. And it was like, oh my God, I am the totality. I am permeating everything. This is just pure energy. This isn't even happening. This is God's mind. Holy shit. And then the character went wild because there was no one holding her back anymore. And so she did shit that no one had ever seen before. It was just hilarious. Because she had already been a little bit rebellious and stuff like that. So it was almost like that got amplified because of the contrast of feeling bound to feeling unbound. And so it was like buck wild. And like I remember skateboarding to my friend's house at night naked, like shit like that. I was
Gosh.
just like, it was why it's like, and there was no self consciousness. It was winter, so there was a leopard coat over, but it was everything else was naked or whatever, and it was just hilarious. And just yeah, and then like the next day I always wanted a Jeep Wrangler. So I went, didn't know stick shift, bought a Jeep Wrangler 1992 topless beast. It was a beast. It was like pure steel. And it was had huge tires and I taught myself stick in one day. And then I went on the cliffs of Colorado, just driving really fast. Like it was scary and it was awesome and it was fucking insane. Just all sorts of shit. I just went wild because there was no more being inhibited. It was just and that was an extreme case. This is not I've only talked to one other person that had this kind of thing happen where it was like more explosive. And then what was interesting is after about 4 months of that, it perhaps became normal because you can't, yeah, you can't be happy without being sad. Um, and there was a holding on to that ecstasy or holding on to something and resisting what was appearing to happen. So that's when it appeared to be real again, is that resisting what's appearing to happen, which no one was doing. It was just spontaneously happening. And then that's when the hardcore seeking started. It was like, that's when I found non-duality. I was like, how do I get back to that ecstasy? It was like a crackhead. It was obsessed. It was, yeah, it was just overboard. So it was like 6 hours
Spiritual,
a day.
spiritual crackhead.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 6 hours a day sadhana. No one could mess with me from this time to this time because I needed to do 3 hours of meditation and all these rituals and reading all the Advaita text and looking for the master of the master because I didn't just want the master, I wanted the master's master. Which is such a beautiful love story because it's the beloved looking for the beloved in a dream. It's God dreaming that it's looking for itself. It's already free. It's already, and it's just so stunning. And so then fast forward through the story when I found, when it was getting exhausted and it was like, something's up with this. There can't be a practice. There can't be working towards this because there was also the reference to it already being this and already being obvious from, that whatever happened in the story in 2018. So then it was like, that's when Tony showed up on the YouTube feed. And then it was like, maybe, that was when the apparent gradual death happened. And so then it was just like everything crumbling more slowly and more, and then it was just too obvious that there never was a me to fall away or to die or to wake up. Never was anything.
Yeah.
It's just empty. Yeah. Which is like the loss of, and even the loss of the fantasy of liberation or whatever people think enlightenment is it's just nothing.
Yeah.
There's no one there to reap the benefits of whatever that would be because it's empty. There's no one to get free.
Wow.
Yeah. What
Oh,
about you? Yeah.
I love that. The loss of the fantasy. That's very, very
Yeah.
good way of describing it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was beautiful. Wow. Wild.
Yeah, it was why it was like a mechanical bull ride or something.
Yeah, it's similar to other stories I've heard, but it's m more extreme in that like the middle part. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, um, I became really depressed young, like at 10 years old. I was just like, this is not correct. Something is wrong. I feel like an alien.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I felt like I had to hide. I was very shameful. Grew up in a Christian family and the Bible Belt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other kids seemed happy and, you know, they played and stuff. And I didn't understand how they did that, you know. I just
Yeah.
I just wished I was never born. And
Yeah.
that just got worse and worse, it seemed, every time. In my teen years, I became very devout um, in Christianity, fundamentalist
Mm-hmm.
Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come home, do my homework, read the Bible from front to back, and
Mm-hmm.
I would get on my knees and pray for wisdom, like an insane person, just
Yeah.
over and over and over, like kind of like a mantra.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I continued to do that, and I started seeing stuff that didn't make sense to me in the Bible. There were contradictions, and I was like, why would God make us and then send us to hell? Right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I thought I would study more, pray more, and it would resolve itself. And it didn't. It just I couldn't I didn't understand. I wouldn't send anybody to hell, so I just couldn't believe it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it scared me. I thought I was going to hell, you know, because I was doubting.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was a few months there that was really scary going through this process until I finally was like, okay, I'm not going to hell. Um, all this religion is bullcrap, and now I'm agnostic. So
That's awesome.
I embraced that and was felt even more isolated because, you know, there was nobody to talk to
Oh,
about.
I bet. Mm-hmm.
Um, Isolation seemed to have been a theme for me. Um, and, you know, the anxiety and depression just got worse. The suicidal ideas and things like that. Um, and I just felt like I needed to hide my craziness, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I became a hermit for many years,
Yeah.
just avoidant. Um, and I accepted that, you know, I had a chemical imbalance or something and that it wasn't my fault. So that was a little bit of healing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I got married and had a son and got a divorce and I got remarried. And something about this new marriage made me want to be better. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had always believed that I couldn't be better. I just didn't have the capacity to be happy. But now
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking maybe I can, you know. So there was a little hope. And that's when I got into the law of attraction
Oh, yeah.
to try to heal my brain. I was going to attract a healthy brain. And
That's great.
it actually really did help, you know, just being
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's a negative thought. And, you know, deliberately choosing gratefulness or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it made a lot of my symptoms go away. I would break down and stuff like that, and that stopped happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into Eckhart Tolle, and
Mm-hmm.
um, there was a weird book. It was like Lives of the Masters of the Far East. It was very
Oh,
fantastic.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Do you? Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
read
cool.
it and or listened to the audiobook and I was like, something is about this. Like this,
Yeah.
like what if this is real? What if enlightenment is real?
Hmm.
And I couldn't put it down after that. So 6 years of seeking.
Hmm.
I had an initial awakening experience, kind of like yours, but not that extreme, where
Hmm.
I was just sitting on my porch for like a day and a half, and it
Hmm.
was just presence,
Hmm.
and like awe, just like I disappeared,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was just looking at everything, the trees, and uh, I was, and then eventually, after about a day and a half, I was like, "Who's gonna live my life?" That thought came.
Oh, cool.
And then all of it flooded back, all of the person.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then I was like, I have to get back to there. And
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
yeah.
That little sneak peek that fucking
Mhm.
drives you crazy. That's like I remember saying it was a curse at one point. I was like, fuck you. Why did that happen? Like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah. And then there was a sort of
Mm.
honeymoon period where it was like bliss and joy for about 6 months or so.
Hmm.
And I thought it was all downhill from there. I was like, this is it. And then circumstances happened and all the depression and anxiety came back. And I was like, what did I do wrong? How did I lose this? What did I
Oh,
not
wow.
do?
Hmm.
And then it was sort of like that meing and being, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meing and being for like 6 years or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Hmm.
5 or 6 years here.
Hmm.
And it's so exhausting, you know,
Yeah.
because you think you made some kind of headway and all the insecurities, everything just come back and the need to feel like I need to do something. Um, I got into all the mystical stuff too and samadhi and everything. I was a avid meditator,
Hmm.
all kinds of mystical experiences.
Hmm.
And there was it just like that exhaustion. You just kind of get to a point where you're like, I've done everything. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
It's like the energetic fuck it that happens for no
yeah,
reason, that spontaneously.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful the way you describe that. It is like that. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's not really logical. It's just the end of something.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and nothing happens really. It's just,
It's just this.
yeah, yeah. And there was a lot of laughter and I heard what they were trying to say, like Tony and Jim, and like I heard what they were saying.
Hmm.
And I was like, this this is it.
Hmm.
Um, and nothing had really changed. It was just this simple, obvious. Like,
Yeah, too obvious, too easy, but easily overlooked because it's too simple.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, which is so brilliant for that game of hide and seek to, and then the resisting, um, which is like the illusion of separation, but at the same time, the alarm system to wake up, because it's like there's only so far you can pull back that resistance before it's gonna pop. And the resistance is that discomfort. It's like an intuitive GPS system screaming, this isn't real, this isn't really happening, this isn't separate. Like I feel like it's screaming that. It's like, and then when it's seen that this, whatever's being resisted is what's being longed for, even the me is it, even the whatever whatever was appearing to happen that you were resisting is it, is what's being longed for, then it's the game over. It's just like, then there's nothing to resist, and then it's just relaxes. And I
Yeah.
remember Kenneth saying over and over again, and I loved it because it was so perfect. But is just what's appearing to happen. It's just what's appearing to happen. It's just what's appearing to happen. And it was just like, oh my, I remember one day walking out the door to run an errand, and it was like, oh my God, it's so fucking literal. It's so literal. There's no before this, there's no after this. This is timeless. Oh my God, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. This is empty. I can't even find myself. Holy shit. And it was like that terrifying falling out of the airplane, no parachute, nothing to hold on to. And it was just done. And it was, and that was it. And then the seeking stopped.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I remember before that, seeing that the me is it, the longing is it, the seeking is it, everything is fucking it. Everything. This is everything is everything. This is the beloved. Everything's the lover. This is God's imagination. It's all God. Everything is. Every thought, every sensation, every feeling, even the resistance, even the pain, even the suffering, even the looking. And it was like, yeah, that's it. Then, yeah, then there's nothing to get. And then it's like that wonk wonk, because it's like, oh, there's not some kind of samadhi or like a elevated, I mean, there can be a Inloveness, or it can vary intensely, or I still have some moments of ecstasy, or feeling like super, in love, where it's like you're in love with a lover, that it's aching, or you're like aching for the lover. But it's not always like that. It's like, it's just the waves on the ocean. So it's just all the soup of emotions and sensations that arise in God's imagination, just for fun.
Yeah.
What it's
Everything.
like to be.
Yeah. This is the point. All the ups and downs and all the appearances.
Yeah,
There's nowhere to get to.
that's the fun.
Yeah.
That's the fun.
And you can't point to it, and you can't not point to it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Every word is it. Yeah, it's wordless, yet every word. And just like in deep sleep, where nothing, is can't, or not being aware of itself or whatever, because it is itself, or it already knows itself. It doesn't need to be aware. It's like this whatever you want to call it, waking, or consciousness, or God's mind, or imagination, is where the noumenal plays the phenomenal, and where the absolute plays the relative, so it can make love to itself, because this has no qualities and no yeah, no personality, no it's completely uninvolved and untouched, and timeless, and absolute, and so appearing as the changing, the relative, the personality, the qualities, can play with itself, God playing with itself. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah. Like an innocent child.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels like it feels like love, it's everything's allowed, you know.
Yay, everything's allowed to play on the playground. Even the sense of separation, the sense of, and how beautiful to get to experience that, what it's like to be real when you're not real, when you don't exist.
Yeah, yeah. Who knew? This is it. This is the miracle.
Yeah, this is heaven. This is heaven. Even when it appeared as hell. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, inescapable.
Yeah. And there's no process, there's no cause and effect, there's no, just like there's people that appear in the imagination to be born like this, or not, not identifying ever as a me or an individual. And then there's some that have a strong sense of me, that which is just an idea or concept in the imagination that no one's thinking or perceiving. It's just appearing in the imagination for no
Yeah.
one.
It's an assumption,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
like a mass delusion.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was on that awkward line of trying so hard to be a self, but I couldn't quite, I don't know, I couldn't quite establish, who
Yeah.
I am, that identity crisis.
Yeah. Me too. I had identity crisis too. I didn't know who Jenny was. I couldn't figure it out because it was so all over the place, spontaneous anyway, and I couldn't box it in, and I couldn't um and she was never full of herself, or never I couldn't see how people were that confident being their, in their character or whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting, which is cool because it also was so, it seemed so easy for it to just be obvious that it never happened, and there is no Jenny.
What a
No
relief.
wonder. Well, I know, no wonder we couldn't figure it out. That's so great.
Yeah.
Nothing to figure out. There was no person that whole time. There was no time. There was no past or story. But how beautiful is the story? It's just because that's it. That's God playing with itself, talking to itself.
Yeah, it's weird to look back and see that everything was this, that when you're searching for that is this.
Yeah. Oh, I know
And you
that
understand
it's,
that it's always like there's no process.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's always this, and it's not objective out there. Even the idea of objectivity out there is this. Yeah.
mm. What are thoughts like for you now? Sorry, my cat's throwing a fit.
Oh, cute. Oh, yay. I love cats. Oh, how sweet.
She's a brindle,
Oh, beautiful.
like a dark calico.
Yes, I've had a calico, super affectionate, so cute. Um,
She's the queen.
what's her name?
Gigi.
Oh, sweet.
We adopted her.
Oh, I love cats. I'm like, they get it. Like you see in their eyes, they're like, I know that it's just this. I know there's this isn't happening.
Yeah, they're kind of looking at you like you're stupid. Like,
Yeah. I
um,
love it. I love it.
so when I was seeking, I thought like thoughts would go away or something.
Mm-hmm.
Had that
Mm-hmm.
theory, but it seems more like a background foreground shift, maybe, or
Yeah.
they were in the limelight and now they're just like
In the background.
background
Yeah.
noise.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because it's obvious that you are the you are the emptiness from which everything's arising. So it's like the emptiness is in the foreground now instead of in the background. And the thoughts, they're funny, they're entertaining, they're just um and it's funny how they're singular too. They have nothing to do with what's appearing to happen. Um and how there can be a thought and then the body does the opposite, and because it has nothing to do with, it's, yeah, no cause or
yeah,
effect.
they're so
Uh,
random.
yeah, yeah, it's fun now that you don't take it personally and you don't identify with
Yeah.
them. Even if
Yeah,
it's a fucked up thought, it's like free to be fucked up. Yeah.
yeah, and there can also be a little like a compassion, like, oh, like you can tell that whatever it is coming from some kind of trauma. Um,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah, just in
and
the imagination.
like just finally allowed to be, what it is, just like crazy
Yeah,
symbols and sounds, and they seem
that's
to
it.
be sometimes more sticky than like the ordinary baseline of just like background noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had like last week I had a couple days where I was feeling down, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it was more just like the body felt that way, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems to come and go so quickly, and then it can be very
Mm-hmm.
intense, like just like doom or something. Um,
Yeah, like the it's all because there's no filter now, or no volition or ownership or trying to control it or resist it. It's full blown. Yeah, it's like a child throwing a tantrum or having a fit. And same here. Yeah, it can be intense, and then there's no working trying to work it out, or trying, because there's no why, because all the meaning died.
yeah.
So then it's just full blown whatever until it's done, and then it's on to the next sensation. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know what you're saying. Like most of them are, yeah, just in the background. And then there can be one that's louder. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
which is just innocently happening for, yeah, impersonally.
This idea that we've been conditioned so heavily with, that there's a right way and a wrong way. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it can be so deep in our bones,
Mm-hmm.
even amongst like the non-dual community,
Mm-hmm.
and pointing in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
There can be, no, this is the right way. This is the most clear way. And
Yeah, that is funny.
yeah,
Yeah, like
I,
a
I love all the different ways of pointing to this.
yeah, me too. And that rebel, and the character Ginny, the rebellious part, wants to like like scream it in in every kind of way, like fuck just one way, you know.
Yeah. You have
Or like,
inspired so many people. You've inspired me so much. Just
oh,
the way you
thank
point,
you.
so poetic and fearless. It seems like.
Oh, thank you. That's amazing. That's so wonderful, which is just choicelessly happening, but it's just, yeah, like there can be a strictness, or like still keeping it confined in these borders or something. And it's like, no, it's fucking free. Like freedom is literally freedom, like
Yeah.
freedom to speak in any fucking way. Like it's just, yeah. But even that's freedom, even the needing to confine it, or like, oh, can't say certain words, or need to say it, don't, or I can't use the word consciousness or something like that. But it's like,
Yeah.
but even that's freedom. Even that's this appearing as can't say the word consciousness. And so then the rebel is like, oh my God, say consciousness every sentence. I just want to say consciousness all day now.
Yeah. Or God.
I love saying God. Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I've always been partial to God. I mean, I know it's a loaded word and everything.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was a time where I was like, okay, I don't need to use the word God because, it's not non-dual enough or something.
Oh,
And
how funny.
yeah, there was an awkwardness for a little while. Seems like there's a deepening, but trying to point to this in a way that I felt was clear, and then it was just frustrating. And then I was like, oh, it can't be pointed to anyway. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of it's meaningless.
Yeah. It's all meaningless because it all has infinite meaning, which is no meaning. And then the every word is a contradiction because it's the opposite of what's being spoken about, because what's being spoken about is wordless and without qualities and cute and permanent and yeah, and nothing. So like everything is the opposite, pointing to itself as nothing. So it's just like every word is the opposite,
Yeah.
which is how it dances with itself or expresses, which is fucking beautiful. Because
Wow.
you can't have one without the other. You can't have, you know, everything without nothing, or, temporary without permanent, or movement without stillness,
So
because it's the
paradoxical.
same. Yeah, it's the
It
same.
seems to be paradoxical, but it's not.
Yeah, it can, yeah, because the sameness, yeah, neutralizes the polarity. It's just not even one. It's one, but it's not even one. Yeah.
Yeah. Gorgeous. I love how you describe that. Mm.
Yay.
Everything that can be said, the opposite can also be said to be true. And it's just like
Mm-hmm.
that's the freedom
Mm-hmm.
and the chaos.
Yeah.
And I guess it can be scary depending on who you are or where you are. Um,
That there's no meaning, or like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that feeling like, oh my God, everything's just falling apart, all beliefs, all concepts, all because yeah, it's all a fairy tale, it's all make believe, and it's all relative um conceptual ideas. It's just that can be anything, that can change and shapeshift and is transient and nothing to hold on to.
Mm.
No facts, no, all fiction.
Did you
That's
paint that fox behind you?
yeah.
Oh, it's
I
so
did.
cute.
Yay.
Mm.
I fantasize about painting again. It just hasn't happened. Um, Sometimes there'll be a thought of painting and it's like I painted the whole thing and it's done and it's like, oh, okay, don't need to do that. It's already
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I do that too.
you
I'm like, I'll think, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint this series and then I'll make a poetry book one day
Oh, heck
and then
yeah.
that's the end of it. Who knows if it'll ever
Oh,
turn
I
into
know.
anything. I haven't painted in a
Exactly.
while, but uh,
Yeah, it's all a surprise. It's so funny. No control. Can't get outside of what is to control it because you are all there is. And it's just spontaneously happening.
yeah, there's no need.
Mm-mm.
I remember hearing like law of attraction people talking about like you're just in lack mentality and you got to get out of the lack mentality. Um, a lot of that stuff like I resonate with now, like what you resist persists
Mm-hmm.
seems to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not that the law of attraction isn't real, in my opinion. It's just that it's not something anybody does.
Yeah, it's impersonal. It's just arising from in the imagination. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I got into that too. I got into all the magic stuff and then doing workshops on abundance and all that shit. And did all sorts of crazy rituals, which I was also studying quantum physics. So I was geeking out on the observer effect and the hermetic principle of correspondence, where what like a radio station, you resonate on the frequency and then you attract evidence of your belief, or you attract evidence that it's there. So that was fun to play with, and I did see a lot of magic tricks. Uh, yeah, which no one, yeah, no choice to do that or not. It just was, but it was fun.
Yeah, certainly, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
like in the honeymoon phase, I was like, wow, everything's magic.
Mm-hmm.
Literally like a Disney movie.
Yeah, transient and healable and malleable because it didn't happen. It's not happening. It's like I like the metaphor of the childbirth since we think we know what that was like. But like the contraction and then the expansion, death, birth, and then the computer 0 1 0 1, the computer is like on off, death birth, expansion contraction, expansion contract, this. It's like a birth and a death simultaneously, like every moment. It's like um deleting itself before it can even finish appearing or whatever. It's just like uh yeah, so that's just beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah. It's the fleetingness. It's like it can be terrifying.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you said, like jumping out of an airplane.
Yeah, so unknown. The free fall into the unknown that always has been. That's the funny part. It's like, oh my God, it's always like this. I never had control. I never had volition. There was never anyone in the body doing anything. Just like the dream at night where it's just happening and no one's doing it.
Yeah. That we can believe in ourselves as entities is like, this thing we tried to get away from as if it was even happening, you know.
Hmm.
And
I
now
know.
it's just like, wow, that even happened, like that could even happen, that we could just be so lost.
Oh, I know. I know. That's beautiful.
And it's not lost, it's literally play.
It is play. Yeah. God playing hide and seek with itself in a dream.
Mhm.
Yeah. And doesn't need to find itself
Mm-mm.
because it is everything already, like doesn't need anything and completely untouched and untainted. And like Sri Ramana used to use the analogy of the cinema, the screen at the movie theater doesn't get burned by the fire in the movie. It's just like, it's not even really happening. It's just a projection of the imagination that no one's doing and no one's being affected by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that metaphor. And
Hmm.
the fish searching for water kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah. That is so beautiful. Yeah, the beloved desperately looking for itself and God worshiping itself. All of it is just it's all of God. And I love it. I love geeking out about it all the
Me too.
time.
Do you ever have dreams? Like for example, a few times a week I'll dream as if I've been talking about this all night, or as if it's almost feels devotional, like really
Yeah.
excited and celebrating,
Hmm.
like basking or something.
Yes,
Do you ever have?
definitely. I do have dreams where where I'm contemplating this or talking about it and I even had, oh my gosh, I had a dream recently. It was so fucking cool. In the dream, I had an awakening and it was like the intense awakening in 2018 where it was like there was a feeling of a center in the body. I was like ironing clothes or something and there was a center and it was really happening. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, on the totality, on the oh my God, it was like that expansive, like holy shit, in the dream. I thought that was cool because
Yeah, that is. Uh,
yay.
during the during the time right before the seeking fell, it was a little intense because I was doing some like really heavy inquiry. It wasn't mentally, but I would just like look at something
Hmm.
as if I looked at it in a certain way, the matrix would just fall apart and I would see through reality.
Yeah.
Um, and I had a dream like that, like I was folding clothes on the bed and I looked at a certain part of the bed and looked at it like I would in that inquiring way. and then I just like fell into this void, this hole in the bed, into like black void. And I was floating around, and I realized there that that this is all being created by me, and this is basically paradise, and I can do
Yeah.
anything. I can do anything. And I was
Hmm.
making things appear, and then I was like, I want to go back to my room. So I like came back through and went back to the room, and I think I did it a couple more times, but it was just like reality just broke because I looked at it the right way or something.
Wow, I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
And I
That's
experimented
amazing.
with psychedelics too,
Hmm.
which was super fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. That was like my first job actually in high school was selling plant medicine. I thought that was funny. So it was
Was
like
it?
an
Wow.
early start. It was an early start.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And then um way later, I loved mushrooms. I used to love doing heroes doses.
Oh my
And
God.
it was so funny because I went on a camping trip with my friends and took like 5 grams or something. I don't remember how much, but um the friends were, this was always how it was. Like I never believed that I had shadow work. I was like, I knew that it was already free. I knew that there was nothing to do already, but it would kind of shine through in those trips or whatever, where
Yeah.
I'd be frolicking around like a fairy, just like rolling around in the flowers and uh and then my friends were like giving each other exorcisms and they were screaming and crying and freaking out. And I was like, and then I was laughing and I was like, guys, this isn't fucking real. None of this is really happening. And it was just like, it was just so awesome.
My God.
And I remember that one of the times resonating on the frequency of the trees, and the trees were screaming and they were humming, and I could hear them speaking. It was so fucking cool. It was
Yeah.
so cool. And it was so obvious that just like quantum physics, where it says there's nothing beyond this horizon line, which is this immediacy of what's appearing to happen, which is everything, contains everything that could possibly
Yeah.
be or not be. It just was very obvious that this frame, this is it. This There's nothing beyond this. And um
Yeah.
yeah.
This is infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen to some guy that said that it would help me be enlightened. So uh, I started doing LSD responsibly.
Uh-huh.
I did some pretty big doses.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the mystical experiences that you can have with psychedelics are, it's almost like you remember um, it all, and everything is okay. And it's just like pure love and celebration. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like devotion. I mean, it did for me. It felt like me and God, you know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting on the floor in the bathroom and staring at this like ugly place on the wall, like where the paint was coming off and stuff. And it was so beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever
Yeah,
seen.
yeah. The immediacy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then after a while, I was like, well, this is awesome and great. And it is like a beautiful remembering in a way, but this isn't making me enlightened, you know? Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah, just an experience. Yeah, in the imagination,
it's a
which
state.
is just another concept. Yeah, because this is beyond concepts. Yeah.
It's all states, all
Mm-hmm.
concepts.
All concepts. Yeah. The body, everything is a concept, idea, and the imagination appearing as, yeah, shape, but it's formless.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember being like, what was I looking for? What did I think was going to happen? You know?
Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of the seeking. It's like the beloved seeking the beloved. It's already the seeking. The seeking is what you're seeking.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, whatever is appearing to happen immediately is what you're longing for.
Yeah, you don't even have to think about it. Just
I know. I know. It's just hilarious. Because then even when you try to find the me that you're trying to get rid of, you can't find it. It goes silent. It's empty. It's nothing. And then it's like, well, what the fuck am I looking for? No, there's nothing. This is it.
yeah. How long
It's,
can you ask, who am I?
yeah.
When you see that that's just a thought, the base assumption, I am, that cannot be unseen.
hmm
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And hmm.
Jenny, thank you for coming on, and I'm gonna
Thank
I'm gonna let you go a
you.
little early because I know you got some more stuff to do, but
You're
thank
amazing.
you
You're
for
amazing.
you too. I'm gonna share all your links below. Is there anything you'd want to say that you're doing today, or invite people to your stuff or anything?
Oh, that's so sweet. I have an open Zoom at 4. It's I didn't put the link on the website, but if anyone wants to email me, I can send the link. Hopefully I can get it done in time. I'm very low tech. Um
Me too.
yeah. And yeah, I think that's it. Yay, thank you so
Yeah.
much. And I
Thank
love
you.
all of your beautiful sharings. I'm absolutely obsessed. All of your the videos where you're speaking and there's music in the background. I'm literally bawling like in happy tears, and like it's just so beautiful and stunning, and I have chill bumps. So
Oh,
your energy is just magical, magnificent. It's just amazing.
oh, thank you.
Yay.
Best
And I love
compliment.
your words. I love all of your everything you've written. That last one about the pendulum, holy shit, spot on. And then the carrot one, I love. Oh my God, it's
Yeah,
so
the carrot
great.
one.
It's so great.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
yeah. I feel the same when I'm listening to you. It's just like it feels like just pure love. Just like you can only take so much.
Oh,
Um,
yay. Love you. Mwah. Thank you so much,
okay,
friend.
Jenny, we'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.